Hey guys, Captain Rick Hajecki. We're sitting here on my Smokercraft Phantom 20X2, and we're gonna do a little walkthrough, show you how I have it rigged and why I chose to go with this model. This model comes in two different transom configurations. This one is the one without an offshore bracket. It's got a very open back end. I fish salmon on Lake Ontario. They are a spunky fish when it comes to the back of the boat with customers who generally don't fight fish that big. So I need the open transom to be able to get the net in there and get those fish on the back of the boat for them. So we'll kind of go through how I've got it rigged here. You can see we've got an integrated track system here that goes around the boat. We've got a lower one and an upper one. Everything that I have back here is utilizing this integrated track system. I have no holes drilled back here, so I can take things on and off as I please depending on what type of species I'm chasing. We've got our Canon Optimum downriggers back here, a 36-inch track with rod holders, rod trees, and I even have a Brew City mount here for my Mega Live too. So when I'm trolling, I can sit there and pan all of my spread and see if lures are, have the right action, if there's fish following those lures. There's a lot of different uses for that. If you look down here and you look back here, we've got these holders for our planer boards and our tools. The great thing about this integrated track system is these were never designed to go in here, but with a carriage bolt or a collared nut and screw, you can turn just about anything into an accessory for these track systems that are integrated in the gunnel of the boat. So that makes it really great. So these are things that I've just added over time. We've got cup holders here. As you can see, they become a catch-all. Obviously your coffee in the morning, it's a great spot for that. So then we're gonna go down to one of the things that I was a little concerned with purchasing this boat. When you troll the Great Lakes, you have a lot of rods. And I was concerned with rod storage because you're not generally using all those rods, but you want them on board in case you run into a situation where you need it. I can store 10 to 12 rods on either side and carry 20, 22, 24 rods, and I've done it. So you can have all your rods with you and they're out of the way. You're not stepping on them. So there's a nice place for that. And that's pretty much the transom of this boat. Let's move forward and talk about some of the other things we have forward to this. All right, so now we are in, let's call it the cockpit of the boat here. I fished this boat from December all the way through April. So I'm fishing Lake Ontario in the middle of winter in upstate New York. And it's quite cold if you've ever been there. The great thing about this boat is you've got a complete canvas that goes from the windshield all the way back to about this line right here in the deck of the boat. You can get 4 people under the canvas with a heater on that step, and you can be in here without a jacket on, waiting for the fish to bite. The great thing about these Smokercraft Phantoms, they've got this little door here in a windshield. So when you put the canvas up here, it encloses this whole entire cockpit area, and you can retain some heat in here, get out of the rain or the snow or whatever you're doing. So you've got a huge area for 4 grown-ups to get in here and get out of the elements, which is a great feature in a 20-foot boat. These benches are great. They also double as storage. So if you look here, we've got this one loaded up with our canvas that attaches to this, planer boards, anything else. So on both sides, we've got plenty of storage in this boat. We got our life jackets on this side, our tools to fix anything that could potentially break. A lot of storage in these 2 bench seats. One comes standard, the other one is an option when you order your boat. Moving up to the helm here, they give you a nice size helm. These are 2 10-inch Humminbird Explorer units. And here's another great use. You can see down there, utilizing the integrated track system and some individual ram parts, we've got our fish hawk down there. I don't necessarily need my fish hawk displayed on this boat because I have the data back on my Canon Optimum downriggers. So I have to have it somewhere, and it's tucked away in a nice little spot that otherwise you wouldn't use for anything else on this boat. You can see you've got ledges down here with that integrated track system, more storage on the floor. This is a very useful cockpit. Okay guys, now we're sitting here on the bow of that Smokercraft Phantom. You'll see we've got a brand new Minn Kota Quest Tarova sitting here on the bow. This trolling motor does a lot of things for me. In some of the video footage of me in the transom, we have 2 engines back there. The smaller engine is my kicker, and that's what I use to propel the boat. This trolling motor up here, I utilize it for my autopilot. So when I'm out there trolling, I can set a course and not have to worry about somebody at the wheel especially when I have multiple lines out there and worrying about tangles and turns and whatnot. You also have your spot lock feature, drift feature, and cruise control with this engine. All right, guys, so you'll notice up here, we've got two 36-volt lithium batteries that are powering our Tarot that we just talked about. The great thing about these is, you know, say your budget is, you know, I can either put a kicker on the back of the boat or a trolling motor. This trolling motor does more than the kicker does. This has spot lock, cruise control, autopilot. At walleye speeds, I don't have to turn my kicker on. So you can purchase a trolling motor, a few lithium batteries, and you can go out there and troll, have your autopilot, and have all the other functions that this trolling motor gives you with these two lithiums that are sitting here in parallel. This is also a great feature of this boat. I fished this boat in a major salmon tournament on Lake Ontario a little bit ago. I was able to keep 3 20-pound salmon in here, and this live well kept them alive for a few hours. I was quite impressed, but it's big enough to put a few limits of fish in here. I had a limit of cohos in here, 3 or 4 big king salmon, and this live well held those fish in there just perfect, and most of them were still alive at the end of the day. So you got a great big live well for your catch, which is awesome. Last feature up here is the self-bailing bow. You'll see slots and you'll see the Smoker Craft logo there. Any water that comes over the bow goes in there and drains, and when you have this door closed, none of it, because of that rubber seal, gets into the cabin, and so it keeps the cabin nice and dry. So that's another great feature on this Phantom. So if you guys are looking for a boat to fish big water, fish the Great Lakes, and most of what you do is troll, especially in those months where the weather isn't perfect and sunny like we have today, they have an 18-foot model and two 20-foot models. Give the Phantom line a serious check out.